The common paradigm that's used to help leaders discern whether or not they are called to church planting is usually diagnosing three particular dimensions of that call and see whether or not they converge. One is, do you have the abilities? Most people who have the gifts and calling and abilities to pastor a church do not have the abilities to plant a church. That's a different gift mix, okay? And normally, and this doesn't mean, I don't mean by superior or super extraordinary, but a church planter almost always needs to be someone that they say, he's a good teacher. He's a good preacher. When he teaches or preaches, I learn. That kind of a thing. Teaching, preaching is one. The other one is leading. When he leads, people follow. And you always look, for the best judge of the future is the past, and you always look, have people followed him? And so there's preaching, there's leading, and I'm kind of working from the bottom up. What we say, we call it the primacy of character in church planting. You can look at preaching and teaching and leading and all of these other areas, but yet it's fascinating how God has condescended to inscripturate a job description for a church planter in 1 Timothy 3 and Titus 1. I mean, that's the description of an elder. And an elder, most of that job description has very little to do with skills. It has to do with character. And so one of the greatest dangers is church planter. You know, a lot of people don't realize when we do assessment centers or we're reviewing church planters, the number one reason why most church planters fail assessments that I'm associated with is because of arrogance or because of a marriage that needs a lot of work or a family that's hurting. And so, character is primary, but after that, ability, we call it. The other one we call affinity. And that's a concept of, you better want to. It's almost like, I know there are some ministries where guys will come up to girls that are single and they'll say, I believe God's called me to marry you, and I don't really like you, and I'm not really attracted to you, and I know you're not me, but this is something we're supposed to do. And I'm just saying, that's weird. In other words, this has got to be something, I've got to do this. It's kind of like, I would go crazy. Lyle Schaller says it takes at least 36 months to even earn the right to lead in an established church. And so do you have the ability? Do you have the affinity? Have you made the most significant cut, the character cut? And then the last one, character primary, ability in terms of those dynamics. And then the last one is what we call opportunity. Do you have the ability? Do you have the desire? Does anybody want to plant a church with you? You can have all the ability in the world, all the interest in the world, and all the character in the world, and not have an opportunity. And God's probably not calling you to plant a church.